Abdul on the sticky wicket, a short story. The narrator receives an emergency call. My friend Abdul was on a sticky wicket. For reasons not to be advanced, he found himself tied to a chair in an abandoned factory, being tended by an ill-tempered Rottweiler. By some fancy twist of his apparel, though, he had managed to hit my number on his phone. "Tom," he said. "Tom, I've got a bit of a problem." I had not heard from him for a while, so it was a welcome call. Concerning the problem, I wondered, does it have anything to do with shipping containers of cigarettes from unknown ports in Asia? Now, Tom," he said, "you know the rules. We don't talk about things like that." I had forgotten. There was a short list of things we don't talk about, and shipping containers of cigarettes from unknown ports in Asia is one of them. His sister Jasmina was another. "Describe your predicament, Abdul," I said. He described his predicament. "You're on a sticky wicket," I said. There was a short silence. "A what?" "A sticky wicket," I said. "You, Abdul, are on a sticky wicket." I could hear him frown. "What does that mean?" he said. I sighed wearily. "It is time, Abdul," I began, "that you got up to speed on Australian idiom. How long have you been here?" "I was born here," he said. "No excuses then. A sticky wicket. It's a cricketing term." "I don't follow cricket," he said. "Well, why not? It's the single most popular game in Pakistan and the whole Indian subcontinent. It's not just a game for white men." "I watched a game once," he admitted, "and they said that some guy was at silly point, and everyone was okay with that." "Well," I said, "silly point's not as silly as it sounds. Some of the best batsmen in the game have fallen at silly point." There was another pause. "What's a sticky wicket then?" asked Abdul eventually. As he said this, I could hear the Rottweiler snarling at him in the background. "Well, that," I explained, "is a situation, common after rain, in which the pitch is either damp or soft or riddled with moist minuscules, and it is sticky and diabolical because it can cause the ball to bounce in unexpectedly flaccid ways or spin erratically like a frickin' whirligig." "So it's a metaphor for a difficult situation?" he asked, getting up to speed on Australian idiom. "Exactly," I said. "It's common parlance, Abdul, not obscure." Another silence, and more dog. "So the batsman," Abdul went on, still needing clarification, "finds it difficult to play a sticky wicket. Is that the thing?" "That's it," I said. "Then what," he said, "is a yorker?" "Oh, a yorker," I said. "Well, that's where the bowler aims the ball directly at the batsman's feet. I'm not sure you're in a yorker, Abdul. Where's the dog?" He explained that the Rottweiler was in fact directly at his feet. "Well, maybe you are caught in a yorker," I said. "But it's definitely a sticky wicket." I could tell that Abdul was processing this, in amongst the terror of being hassled by the hound, and there was the question of how long the battery on his phone might last, but I felt it necessary to fill him in. "A yorker on a sticky wicket," I said, "is almost impossible to play. Any half-decent medium-paced leg spinner could pitch it right at your toes and either tickle your bails or catch your leg before. If you do manage to hit it, you'll be caught at silly point." Now a long silence. "What's a night watchman?" Abdul then asked with some resignation. "Well, that's where there's only a few overs to play before stumps, so the captain of the batting team sends in a lower order chump to bat out the remaining balls. His only objective is to stay alive." Abdul thought that sounded vaguely familiar, and I anticipated his drift. "Well, you might be compared to a night watchman, perhaps," I said. "Yes. So just hang in there, Abdul." "A game goes for 5 days, he objected. I agreed that it's not a game for the half-hearted. At this point, the Rottweiler objected to the banter and started sharpening its teeth on Abdul's thigh. I could hear the yelping. In fact, I went on, in a world beset with cheap thrills and instant gratification, a test match at the international level with 2 innings in whites and often extending up to a week of working days is the only long format game still extant. Eventually the yelping died down and the Rottweiler apparently mellowed out, if only momentarily. "Look, Tom," said Abdul, "can you help me or not?" He wanted to move on from cricket. At this juncture I had another thought. "You know," I said, "I've been paying $50 for a carton of cheap double happiness smuggled in from Shanghai. $50. $50, he exclaimed, "for double happiness? That's robbery." "It should be illegal," I agreed. "But," I said, "try as I might, I cannot find them any cheaper." I presumed this next silence was Abdul consulting his business model. "I might be able to help you with that," he said. The dog started up again. It seemed it was really getting stuck into his thigh. It was burrowing for a bone. Abdul was yelling, "Tom! Tom!" "What sort of Rottweiler is it?" I asked. "German, American or regional?" It was sharpening its teeth to a fine point. "Tom!" he cried. My friend was definitely on a sticky wicket. I could tell. Relenting, I went to my drawer and pulled out my trusty Rottweiler dispenser. "All right, Abdul," I said. "I'll be there in half an hour."